Well, I do want to plug that this
Butt
is
plug?
not. That was a good one. That was great. That's how we're going to reference it from here on out.
It's time to butt plug. And
I'm going to butt plug right
all
now.
All plugs at the end of the podcast.
Butt
plugs.
Any butt plugs at the butt of the story or the butt of the podcast. Yes. Hello.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Say Smut. Welcome.
Welcome. Like we have been saying this whole time, to Say Smut, a literary podcast for readers and non-readers.
Wait, what's that? Who just said that? Is that Sarah? It is. And she loves books.
And I believe the other voice you're hearing on this call is Hope. And she still loves talking to me about books and Hope. I was about to say Hope again.
She loves to talk about herself. She being
all
me,
the time.
I love me.
Each episode, I break down the plots of some pretty wild books to Hope, who has not read them. And I've got a little quickie today.
Ooh, a quickie. A
quickie that, in reality of the story, it wasn't that quick. But it's a 20-page book. So quick for us. And I believe the page count in the actual book of the story is 15 pages.
Nice.
So, we have covered aliens before, and you've done alien research before.
I have.
And so I had to get creative with your research.
Yes.
I gave you.
Specific, I would say.
Yes, because today, we are covering Bent Over by the Aliens by Sibley Stamps. You can already tell where it's going. You know.
I had a hunch.
Yeah, you already know. And so before I get started, I want to cover some bases, including our content warnings. It is questionable consent. I mean, it is humans and aliens getting it on. Not well in an untraditional way, and so no one can verbally really consent. Okay,
yeah, a language barrier, perhaps.
Yeah, and as you can probably guess, there is an abduction. Okay, there's a little bit of bondage, infidelity, anal, and other sexual content. Okay,
infidelity, but it's emotional.
Yeah, it's in a lot of ways. Okay,
wow,
and I think there is a second book to this.
Wow.
Because I think it's like double penetrated. Hold on.
Because it's a sequel?
Yeah. I'm not, God damn it. Where is it? Okay. Sorry. I'm like scrolling through. I should have had this read. Yes. It is Double Probed by the Aliens, a wet and messy machine sex story.
Followed by Triple Probed.
Yeah.
3 aliens. 1 me.
Eiffel Towered, but no, I don't know. And that didn't work. I was trying to think of things with 3 people, threesomes. Anyway, it didn't work.
That's true. I mean, really, it's going to be a foursome if we add 3 aliens, and then that's not really working either. Well, we'll workshop it.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We'll get back to you, Sibley. But in the meantime, I'll let you know that on Storygraph and Goodreads, it has both like a 3.8-ish rating. So very
amazing.
Equivalent. And a little bit about our author. Sibley Stamps is a Pacific Northwest author of monstery erotica.
Nice.
Monsters, cryptids, tentacle, aliens, and dinosaurs need love too.
They do.
It's what we've been saying this whole time.
And they want to give it to you also.
They are givers.
And are full of love.
All books in the Stamps collection features cover art painted by the author, who is a lifelong artist. In addition to to creatures, Sibley is a huge fan of rainy days, clicky keyboards, and strong roasty coffee.
Ooh. Snaps for that. I'm doing snaps.
You know, and I'm so glad I include these little bios, because I was looking at the cover, which we will get to. You will obviously tell us about the cover at the end of our podcast, but it's a cute little cover. And I have been finding it hard to find interesting books that are not AI art.
Yeah.
So to know that Sibley made this art is so fun as well. It's great. Great all around.
I'm so excited.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Bent over by the aliens.
I've never been more ready to get bent over by aliens.
Well, we're going to start our story of all alien abductions in a
field.
Yes, you are correct.
Oh my gosh, in a cornfield.
Kate lives in the rural outskirts of some unknown town. Okay.
She lives in Iowa. We can make that determination right now if we want to, if it's not specified.
We'll say it. She lives in Iowa, and she's walking through this rural field contemplating life. More specifically, she is contemplating her relationship with her current man. I don't know if we're calling him a boyfriend or not, but his name is Matt. Okay. They've been dating for a while. And he had previously called and asked her if she'd come spend the night, but Kate lied to him and said she was busy, when in reality, she just didn't really want to see him. Okay. So I'm going to let you know right now that the infidelity is the fact that she's about to fuck some aliens and still is technically with Matt. Okay. Right. So like, if you're concerned about the infidelity, don't be, because Matt is a selfish prick. All right.
I'll say I am not concerned on behalf of the aliens who don't even have this context.
No, and I don't care if it's infidelity in a 15-page book when Matt doesn't even make an appearance and he is a asshole as he's laid out to be.
Okay.
Sorry, Matt. Sorry, Matt. No good rep here. But she admits that they are not sexually compatible because all he wants to do is missionary vanilla stuff, which is fine. It's cool.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, but unfortunately, he's also a very selfish lover and only cares about getting himself off. And she has never gotten off with him.
It's the selfishness that's the problem, Matt, not the missionary.
Yeah, and it's not even that like she has a problem necessarily like getting it off even on her own. Like she can she's like, my clitoris works. It does. He just has never touched it. He's never figured out where it is. Anyway, but she's tried to work with the vanilla stuff he does, but Devin never gets off, right? Because, quote, Kate had a kink, no more of a taboo, intensely fantasy-based fascination with anal sex.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not so out there, actually.
No, I didn't. Kate, I think you would find that many of folks don't mind a little finger in the butt, as we've found in this podcast.
Kate, I'm so happy if aliens help you realize your fantasy fetish, but I'm also happy to tell you that here on Earth, I think many people could also help you with that.
Yeah, Matt's just not the one. She's never tried it out personally and not even like on her own. And the porn she's watched of it seems really painful, honestly. And so she's like, I don't know why I'm into this. I don't get it, but it's still the concept of it turns me on. So when I fantasize about it, she's like, I try and put Matt in the position of giving me anal, and it makes me uncomfortable. And it's like a mood killer when I think about him putting his dick in me. And I'm like, ouch.
Ouch. I hope Matt doesn't read this.
Yeah, Matt better
break
not.
Over the coals Sibley, in this one.
Sibley, if this is your story and you have a Matt in your life, blink twice. No, I'm kidding.
Like, who's the real Matt? Did he hurt you?
Yeah, what did he do to you? So as
what didn't he do to you?
What didn't he do? So as she's walking through this field of open grass, she's thinking about how it will never work out with Matt, right? She just knows it at this point. Mm-hmm. But suddenly, a buzzing sound comes out of nowhere, and Kate stops and looks around. There's a vibration in the air, and a single bluish-white beam falls on her, and she looks up, shielding her eyes. Suddenly, she's levitating. This couldn't be happening, but no, sure enough, when she looks up, there is a curved edges of a hovercraft above her.
Wow.
The light was so bright that it temporarily blinded her, and when she could see again, she was resting on the smooth metal floor of a spaceship. She gets up and she starts looking around this very clinical room that has like a metal table in the middle, and she realizes and processes what just happened. Mm-hmm. She was abducted by aliens.
Obviously.
And she realizes that if aliens are real, then maybe so is their anal probing. Crazy.
If aliens are real, so is anal.
I will stereotype these motherfuckers to the ends of the universe.
Making a lot of assumptions, if you will.
Yeah. So at this point, I would like you to provide a little research because as I was sitting there, I was thinking to myself, well, first of all, I was going to have you do research on if there's ever been an alien abduction reported in like a town or a city, like in some sort of non-rural setting, because you always hear of them happening there.
Not in a field.
Which I know I've watched that one Unsolved Mysteries episode where that entire town had like 5 situations, but still they were all out of town. I want to know if they've happened. Anyway, we'll save that for another pod.
Yeah, the next time we cover
aliens. But for now, I would like you to explain where the fuck the concept of anal probing with aliens came from.
Yes, thank you for that introduction. Welcome to my research segment titled Probing Questions on Alien Abduction.
That's one of your best.
Thanks.
That's one of your best.
Thank you. And thank you to the weird reaches of the internet where I found this information and where I had pulled in some prior research from a different episode, actually. We're thanking an NPR opinion piece, Mail Magazine, whatever that is, newscentermaine.com, the Harvard Gazette, and entries from Reddit and Quora. So
yeah,
it's about what you'd expect.
Quora.
The history of alien abductions has always been a little bit sexy, and I say that. Yeah, I said it, first of all, and I say that because many accounts of abductions, like in real life and in media portrayals, include some sort of like procreation bent, some sort of like need for human procreation, some sort of like exploration into reproductiveness. It's come up a bit. There's always been a little bit of it's never just like we're getting abducted by aliens and they're looking at us. So it's like we're getting abducted by aliens and maybe we're going to have a little bit of sex also, or as we'll talk about, maybe there's going to be some hot probing.
Oh, yeah. Per usual.
You may recall from my research for Ice Planet Barbarians that the case of Betty and Barney Hill was one of the first widely publicized reports of an alien abduction in America. Not the first one to ever happen, but kind of the first one to really take like a media spin and get popular.
Yeah.
In September of 1961, this couple in New Hampshire, Betty and Barney Hill, reported being followed in their car by a beam of light coming from a ship floating above them, and they pulled over and said the light enveloped them and they blacked out. And then later they came to in their car miles away from where they had pulled over. Sometimes when they retell the story, they say they came to like actually driving. But sometimes not. They couldn't remember the previous 2 hours. Betty had said she found that the zipper on her dress was torn and her dress was stained, and Barney had some binoculars with a strap that broke, and that's like the only thing that really happened to him, but that's fine.
Okay.
But both of them reported having nightmares and anxiety from the abduction, and they had hypnosis treatments and reported in their sessions that they had been brought on a ship and taken into separate rooms and physically examined. Physical examination kind of talked about in their report, but not harped on, but it's there. In an encounter reported even before that, there is a Brazilian farmer named Antonio Vilas Boas, and he reported being abducted by 5-foot-long beings and then claimed that they gassed him.
Oh,
which made him sick, but then he came to it, and there's this one beautiful, long-haired, beautiful-eyed alien who had intercourse with him and made it very clear that the goal was to make a human alien baby for her to raise.
Oh.
And this, I think I have the date on this. This allegation, I think, was maybe in the 50s, but then didn't gain more popularity in its reporting like after the craze of UFO sightings already started. So it's like a little bit hazy as to what came first. But we've got a sexy alien.
And I would imagine that if you are that man, that you would be like, I'm so special. She chose me.
She was so hot. A very beautiful, hot alien picked me and really wanted to make it clear that she wanted me to make an alien human hybrid baby with her.
And I don't even have to pay child support. It's so great. I still get to sleep with her.
So again, yet another account of alien abduction, something a little sexual happening. I also, in my previous research, had pulled this report in the Harvard Gazette. And in 2003, they'd reported on a psychology experiment that was supposed to determine whether the memories of people who say they were abducted by aliens would have the same psychological reactions that occur in people who have like PTSD as they recall their traumatic experience. So basically, like, let's look at the brainwaves of someone who has PTSD about an event while they're having the PTSD, and let's look at the brainwaves of someone who said they were abducted by aliens and see if they're similar.
I remember this conversation from episode 5, Ice Planet Barbarians.
Yes, exactly. Something important to our research that came out in this study is that 6 women and 4 men claimed they had been abducted 1 or more times. And under hypnosis, 7 of the 10 people reported having their sperm or eggs extracted for breeding purposes, or they reported having direct sexual contact with space aliens. So even people in a study in 2003 are reporting, you know,
that intercourse or that sexual encounter.
Yes. So we've had some sexy time. We've had a little reproduction, but what is it that made us come to the realization that aliens are keen to boogie in our butts? Like, when did we get to specifically they're probing our anus? There's an answer for this, and it is because of a book published in the 1980s by a writer named Whitley Strieber. It's called Communion. It came out in 1987, and in the book, Strieber describes aliens inserting a probe in him to collect data. And the book became really popular, and there was like a kind of another wave of alien UFO abduction craze in the 80s, 90s. And because this specifically talked about anal probes, other than subsequent depictions of aliens and abductions in media, also started including anal probing. So basically, there's always been hints of sexy alien activity when you're getting abducted. Like, maybe they're trying to figure out how humans procreate. Maybe they want to procreate with humans. But like the explicit mention of anal probing came in the 80s and then blew up after that, with more people including it in their stories of alien abduction after that.
Well, can I throw something out there in a non-sexual way with butt probing?
Yeah.
If you think about it, if we're talking non-sexually, like completely data-based, if this was like them trying to extract data, okay, yes, there are many places they could extract data from.
True.
Like we do swabs in noses, we do swabs in ears, we do swabs in mouth, but we do take sometimes we'll take baby or temperatures, you know,
rectally,
like through the rectum. So it's not far-fetched to also be let's stick it up there. Everyone's got one of those, you know.
No one had explicitly said an alien checked up my butt until this book came out.
Yeah,
specifically, and then after that it got brought up a lot.
But then it makes sense because it's not like we don't stick things up there.
Yeah, it's not the first time that probing had been mentioned in relation to alien abductions. They just weren't in the butt until this point. Okay. And then a fun fact about that book is that it got made into a movie with Christopher Walken in it.
Wow. Christopher Walken in an alien movie.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so go watch Communion or don't. I don't know if it's good or not.
We'll have to report back.
And that's pretty much where specifically anal probing is coming from. Like, it hadn't been stated very specifically aliens probing a butt for stuff until it was in this book. Okay. But there had been other checking medical procedures reported, sexual adjacent things reported prior to that book coming out.
It is kind of fascinating how we associate, we can all debate whether or not aliens are real or not, but at the same time, it's fascinating for not having concrete evidence on something, how we've started associating different concepts with them. Because even crop circles or like, you know, the beam of light that people talk about and the floating up. Like they don't just drop a ladder for you. Never. Have you ever heard of
always
that?
floating. Sometimes they take a cow. I don't know why a cow always gets stuck up there.
Because it's always in a fucking field.
It's always in a cornfield.
You never see it in Brooklyn. You never see it
that would
in
be too
Chicago.
Obvious.
No.
Aliens are like, that's too obvious. Everyone will see.
Yeah, this would be really embarrassing. Okay, well, she, like I said, has come to the realization that maybe anal probing is also real if aliens are real.
And good news for her, it is real regardless of the existence of aliens.
True. So she is kind of thinking this is titillating, but also is like, well, I wanted to experiment with this, but this was not how I thought I was going to do it.
Have it prepared in any capacity is, I would say.
Yeah. And I feel like every type of monster smut book we get to, they're always like, well, I was always fascinated with this one thing, but I never wanted to try it. Not this way. And then it's like, well, this is the way you're getting it. Suddenly these doors open out of nowhere because you know they're so like slick and modern walls that you
just
can't
laying
even see
on
the doors.
Floor.
Yeah, and they open, and the little gray aliens that are about 4 feet tall with thin bodies and big heads, aka every alien you've ever seen an image of, starts filing into the room, and they surround her in a circle. Which is very ominous.
Awesome.
You just grabbed for your pen and paper so quick to make this drawing, and I really appreciate it.
I have to start when the description starts.
It is so true. And we have a short book, so, I mean, you've got a short amount of time to do this. So she says hello to them, but of course no one responds. So there's going to be no verbalizing from these folks whatsoever.
Noted.
They start grabbing her arms and bending her over that big metal table that was in the center of the room. And they're like strapping her down in that position, like with a collar and everything. Like she is bent over, like semi-doggy style. Okay. So as they're like groping her and grabbing her and alien handling her, she is shocked to find out how strong they are and that she's like, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to fight these guys off. So instead, she's like asking if they can talk, you know, like rational people about this, you know.
Sure.
Can't we just talk this one out? Like, just hear me out, okay? But the aliens pull up her skirt and take off her panties, and she knows she's getting probed for sure.
Oh, she's getting probed.
And now she's officially turned on. Okay. So when she feels them put something slippery into her ass, she's relieved that they're at least using some form of lube. Which
that's sometimes all you can ask for, I suppose.
Bar is on the floor, but we accept, I guess, at least that bar. So she decides to relax into it. And actually, she just like crosses her arms and rests her head on her arms. Like she's like, okay, I'll just hang out here. Very chill. Quote, they were probably just curious about her and would let her go once they got a good look at her body.
Yeah, sure.
Sure they will. Sure, Kate. Sure. They start massaging her back hole with some tube and like then start pushing it in. And obviously, I say tube, I really should have meant like a probe. Like it's not like a hollow tube. It's just like, you know, something back there. And obviously she's enjoying it. She's like wiggling around in the restraints. And as she starts to react, the aliens move in and out with the probe, which surprises her because she just thought she was going to get one stroke. You know, you only need to go in there for one piece of data, right?
Right.
But she also hoped that wasn't the case because she wanted them to
obviously
really get those
collect the data
experiments done. Yeah.
Really collect the data.
So remember how the aliens are circled around her?
Uh-huh.
Well, it seems like there's somebody in the front that is like directing the person who's probing her from behind and like surveying her reactions to it. So like every time this alien, like, cause the alien's staring at her, every time he looks behind, I say we don't know a gender.
This
alien looks behind her at the other alien. She knows she's going to get a little bit extra. You know, they're going to ramp it up a little more. So she estimates that they work their way in 6 inches deep and wonders how far they'll go until they stop. Quote, Kate was prepared to put on a show if it made them continue.
Fascinating.
She's like, I will do whatever I have to.
She went from I've never tried this to I am the champion of this.
I can take 6 inches deep in my ass.
Honestly, very proud of her.
Suddenly, she feels something running up and down her legs, and she realizes that an alien is taking samples of the wetness coming from her vagina, which, very thorough. We appreciate somebody who can do their job well.
Important to understand.
They had been taking the probe out and putting it back in, but then she realizes that the next time she feels it go back in, it's a little bit bigger. So now they're swapping the instruments out for larger instruments.
For more data.
Apparently. Suddenly, she is coming and she's having a full-on exorcism on this table, which the aliens are finding extremely intriguing, which I'm also like, what are facial expressions to aliens? How are we reading their expressions?
How can you tell?
What's the body language here? Is body language universal? Maybe. I guess. Well, then an even larger probe gets put inside her. Now she's begging for more. She's thanking them over and over again. She says, thank you so much. Yes, more, more, more. And again, I want to reiterate, it's not like they understand. So, okay.
Sure. This is just happening.
It's just happening, girl. So it doesn't take long until she has orgasm number 2. She was so shocked because she hardly ever got even one orgasm out of a sexual encounter, let alone 2. So she's like riding some ethereal high that she can't understand. Okay. We have now surpassed
a whole new universe she's floating in.
She has now surpassed using words from the English language. Okay.
Speaking in tongues.
Kate then feels a wet gush between her legs because, of course, she has now squirted. And because I don't want to keep saying the word squirt for the rest of the podcast, I'll let you know that she continues to do it for the remainder of this scene. Okay?
Okay, good to know.
Thank you. Her new bodily fluids make one of the aliens run up and get another sample. Again, I'm sorry, but I can't stop but imagining them as like minions. And I know that's not right.
I don't love that.
Accurate.
I don't love that that's what you
But they like act like they're just like running up, doing something, running away, doing something else. Like it seems very like that attitude of what like the minions do, you know?
that careless minion attitude.
That very minion attitude. So anyway, now the aliens are so excited. They're not like sexually excited. They're just like excited they're getting information, you know, that they're getting a reaction out of her. And so they're scurrying around the room trying to find a bigger and larger instrument to put inside her. And Kate is living her best freaking life.
Dreams come true.
Finally, she believes that the last probe she gets has to be at least 4 inches in diameter.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. And at this point, she's making like animalistic noises, eyes rolling into the back of her head, like
fully possessed,
fully gone by orgasms. And she's wondered if she could die from pleasure. And even though she doesn't die, she does apparently pass out because
sure.
Not long later, well, we don't know how long later, she wakes up and she's back in that field, naked from the waist down and very, very sore in her rectum. Okay.
Understandable.
She would have thought it was all a fantasy if she didn't have the physical pain of it still.
Right.
She walks back to her farmhouse and checks her phone, and it turns out she's been gone for 15 hours. She decides to put on some comfortable pajamas and opens her laptop to search for UFO sightings in the area. We are at the end of the book. I have literally 2 sentences left. Okay. How do we think? Well, I shouldn't say 2. 4 very small sentences left. How do you think we're going to wrap up in the next 4 sentences?
I hope that in one sentence she buys herself a butt plug. I'm just going to say that outright. Oh. She deserves it. It's what she needs. It's what she likes. She's found something about herself that she likes, and I think she doesn't need a man or even an alien for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there like a recent sighting in the news, in the local news?
Also? Well, There is no reference necessarily to another sighting, but this is a direct quote for the final sentences. Last night had been incredible. She was already hoping for a repeat performance if she could tempt them to take her again. Her phone buzzed and she saw that Matt was calling. She swiped to ignore it and kept typing. The end.
Wow. Well, you could kindly break up with that man. I guess is one thing I will say.
Too.
He doesn't know about the crazy anal fantasy you've just lived out. And honestly, if you talked about it, maybe you would have that together. Who knows? But
yeah, and I get that she's like, I don't think he would be open and accepting to it, but also like, don't ghost. It sounds like you guys weren't like just 1 or 2 dates in. Like it sounds like you should have had a conversation, Kate. Okay.
Sorry, Kate. Continue Googling ways to tempt aliens to come back. I know that's not what she's looking up.
Yeah, go frolic in your field. Really kind of tantalize them.
Face down, ass up, in the corn, just waiting.
That is our book. How do you feel after that?
Great.
I have like phantom pains for her.
It's
sore. Diversity, I have no indication of anything other than the identification that she was a female and a woman and a human woman and that there were aliens.
So those things.
Plot. What are you going to give our plot?
I mean, for approximately 15 to 20 pages of book, a pretty decent amount of backstory. I'll give it a 4.
I am also going to give it a 4 because, I mean, you have the whole abduction.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing this self-discovery.
Yes, true.
Yeah, and now she's going to try and get them to take her again.
She's told us about and effectively ended a whole relationship just in her head.
Yeah. Okay, Smut. I will give a 5. I mean, it was very thorough. For 15 pages, I will say there were multiple orgasms. And I, you know what? I appreciate the fact that she was the only one really having a sexual encounter.
Mm-hmm.
The aliens were just doing their job. Okay.
I am happy for her about that. And also it makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable and shy that the aliens weren't participating more.
But they were like, I mean, they were happy about, allegedly, according to her analysis of the interaction, they were excited about the results they were getting. It's not like they got uncomfy and wanted to stop.
Yeah, but I got uncomfy and that's the problem.
I'm surprised you're uncomfy that they weren't participating.
Yeah, I don't know why that. There's something about the dynamic. I guess maybe
is it like the cuckolding that you're like?
Maybe it's just like a personal stage fright.
Okay.
I'm putting on her.
Okay, I'm giving this Smut a 5. What are you giving it?
I'll give it a 4.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, the wonderful cover made by our wonderful author is linked in there. I would love for you to provide us an explanation.
Okay, well, this abduction happened at nighttime. So,
yes.
Dark background. We see the glowing lights of what is, I assume, is an alien craft. We have the, tractor kind of beam down light.
Mm-hmm.
And within that beam, the silhouette of a woman floating up toward the craft.
Mm-hmm.
It says been over by the aliens, a probing machine sex short, and it's very cute. And I really like it. The only thing that would make it funnier, it doesn't even need to be funny. This is just how my brain works, is if she was floating up into the craft, ass up.
By her ass.
Just ass first. Maybe for the sequel. Float her ass up.
Float her ass up for the
But
sequel.
It's really cute. It's a really cute cover.
I'm, especially now that we know that the art is done by the author, I'm giving it a 5. You can't tell me otherwise. Okay, so that leaves me with a 93%, and you are at an 86.
Amazing.
That's pretty good. Okay, what is your Say Smut moment from the book?
It's a lot of inches without any sort of preparation. I guess it's just
other than lube,
which thank goodness for that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Happy about the presence of lube in this book. Concerned about the girth on a first try. Just
and
personally.
I get that they were trying to do something with the whole, like, yeah, she's experimenting and she's figuring this out. But the way that she immediately just like rested her head on her arms and was like, yeah, take a good look at my ass. Like, I'm totally comfortable with this.
Here we go.
Was a little wild, but I guess it was 15 pages. So we got to work with what we got.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
And, you know, I appreciate her going and doing some research afterward. You know, maybe this opened her eyes to some self-discovery that she needs to do and work on for herself.
I think so.
Well, I do want to plug that this is not... That was a good one. That was great. That's how we're going to reference it from here on out.
It's time to butt plug. And
I'm going to butt plug now.
All plugs at the end of the podcast.
Any
butt plugs.
Any butt plugs at the butt of the story or the butt of the podcast. Yes.
Boy.
This was actually not on Kindle Unlimited, which I was surprised because most of these types of books that we read are on Kindle Unlimited. So I recommend, if you want a 15/20 page little alien smutty anal read, go buy it for $2.99, I believe it is, on whatever platform you can. I don't want to support Jeff Bezos, but unfortunately, for the sake of the podcast, I do have to. But either way, go support Sibley Stamps and her art, because I think that's cool. Now I'm going to go look at her other art because that's really dope. Anyway, in the meantime, let people know where you're at.
I was going to say, in the meantime, if you could just text Matt.
Yeah.
And just let him know what's going on.
Yeah. Or even, I was coming from a perspective of put on your Find My Friends, you know?
That's also important.
Literally, if you go missing for 15 hours, that's concerning to me.
Literally let people know where you're at. And on an emotional level in your relationships, please let people know where you're at.
Yeah. And at least say, you know, like, hey, let's get coffee and let's talk. Or like, hey, look, I would have even accepted a text to him being like, we're done. Okay. Yeah. But don't leave him in the lurch. All right. And stay smutty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.